Welcome, Easy Properties investors. It's great to chat to you so early in the year, and I'm delighted that we're joined by Rupert, our CEO of Easy Properties. He's had a little bit of a break, so he is refreshed, and we are going to chat to him about the plans for Easy Properties. So welcome, Rupert, and all the best for the year.
Yeah, thanks, Carel, and to you too. And wishing all the best to our Easy Properties community.
Great. Well, we want you to make us lots of money, so I want to get right into it and chat to you about our current listings that we've got on the platform. We've got one in Umhlanga and one in Stellenbosch, and let's talk a little bit about the Umhlanga one first. Do you still think this is a good proposition as we go into the year after the holidays and what we're seeing in the KZN property market?
Yeah, I mean, there's anyone who reads any of the news knows that there are a bit of challenges around KZN infrastructure. Some of the issues on the beaches, but yeah, I mean, from an asset point of view and from an investment point of view, the Capital Pearls building is iconic. It's absolutely beautiful. I think one of the biggest things to remember around Capital Pearls is that we've actually got a 3-year rental guarantee in place. So while there are a couple of, and let's hope that there are short-term issues in that KZN coast, the fact that we've got this rental guarantee actually just removes us in a large way from some of the issues that are being faced. We've got a 3-year rental guarantee. Okay.
Yeah, because I think we're being a bit blasé about it from an Easy Properties perspective. I mean, what exactly does a rental guarantee mean? So me as an investor, I'm investing in this property. I'm going to gain, hopefully, capital appreciation over a couple of years. But from a rental guarantee perspective, how does that affect dividends or the like?
Well, I mean, what it actually does is that it de-risks the challenges of getting tenants into units. So if you don't have a rental guarantee in place, a normal property investment, you go out into the open market and you try and find people to rent your units. And then you're out there competing with everything else that's on the market, and that's the kind of standard way that people invest in property. One of the benefits of us as a community pooling our money together and coming up with these big checks to buy a lot of property means that we're able to negotiate really good deals with these developers. So in the example of Capital Pearls, the Capital Hotel Group have said to us that for 3 years, they are going to guarantee our rental income. So the simple fact of the matter is, if our units in that property opportunity are empty for 3 years, it actually doesn't make any difference to us whatsoever, because the developers themselves are going to pay us those rentals that we've projected, on the prospectus and all of that, irrespective of whether they're full or not for a period of 3 years.
And for somebody like the Capital, I mean, which is a massive and successful group, to guarantee it for 3 years shows a high degree of confidence in this property. I mean, they are responsible to shareholders and the like, so they're not going to do that if they're not confident. So it's a massive guarantee and a benefit to us as investors.
Yeah, without question.
A couple of days left, a couple of weeks actually left, but don't delay, investors. Get into the Umhlanga opportunity, Capital Pearls. And then our next one, which is one of my favorite ones, which is why I've got a picture of Stellenbosch behind me as my background, is the Edge, Rupert. And people are starting to move in there in a couple of days' time. The development is done. And it's our first student accommodation property. And I know you've been working hard at getting student accommodation. But yeah, why are you excited about this property?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm mostly excited from a FOMO point of view, because this particular student accommodation doesn't look anything like any of the accommodation you and I enjoyed as varsity students. But I particularly love it because it's in a very iconic part of Stellenbosch, and as people will know from reading the investment case, that whole Dennisig area is going through a massive rejuvenation and investment, and so the Edge falls slap bang in the middle of that precinct, which is really exciting. The building itself and the offering is it's just world class. Actually, the most beautiful looking student accommodation ever. And as we know, there's a massive shortage of beds across the country, but also particularly in Stellenbosch. So with this investment, we're answering an unbelievable kind of supply and demand issue. And also what's really amazing is that the timing of this one is particularly good, because we are finishing the IPO at the same time that the students are actually moving into this this development. But again, we've got an excellent rental guarantee in place. This is a particularly cool rental guarantee, because this one, generally a rental guarantee, you guarantee 10,000 Rand a month, you get 10,000 Rand a month.
Yeah.
This rental guarantee that we've got is actually a minimum rental guarantee. So if the developers rent it out for higher than what the guarantee is, we will get to enjoy the benefit of that one as well.
And again, it talks to supply and demand, that Rupert. So I think it really is a good deal for investors. Particularly in an area where, with students, young professionals, there's high demand for this type of accommodation.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I particularly like about the Stellenbosch area is that, I mean, you know that area far better than I do, but I mean, as a municipality, the Stellenbosch area is incredibly well run. The infrastructure around there is amazing. And there's just so much investment kind of coming into the Stellenbosch area that it's awesome to kind of get in early and start catching the wave of huge investment that is coming into the area.
Yeah, and again, it was really nice for me to walk around this development, meet the developers, the team from the estate agent that are helping to sell, just really passionate people, really nice. And I would encourage investors that are, many of the EasyProperties investors are students or work in Stellenbosch, go check it out. I have particularly fondness for this road where this development is. When I went to visit it, it reminded me that I was totally in love/lust with somebody who lived exactly where this development is when I was at university. But we're going to have a function there on the 5th of February in the Stellenbosch precinct as EasyProperties. So everybody listening to this, all you need to do to score an invite if you're in the region on the 5th of February is just tag EasyProperties and reply to this on our socials, and I'll make sure you get an invite, and you can come have a glass of wine for us and check out the views. From the top,
not only from a property point of view, but also you've got a couple of cool VIPs who are coming to the launch as well.
I do indeed. We'll keep that a surprise, but we've got some lacquer VIPs coming as well. So it's going to be a great afternoon. It's a Sunday afternoon. From the top of this edge development, Rupert, there's fantastic fire pits. And when you stand on this deck, you've got a great view of the mountains, but you're also looking over onto a vacant plot of land. And that's the piece of land where our next opportunity on the platform is going to be built. And I think you can sort of let the cat out of the bag what that opportunity is. And I'm keen for you also to talk about why it makes sense to invest in a property that hasn't even been built. It's going to take 2 years for this to be built. Shouldn't I rather wait as an investor? Why get into it now?
Yeah. So the next property that we are going to be putting onto the platform is called The One. It's also a student accommodation offering. And this particular development is without doubt, people throw around the words world class. But when people actually see what this development is going to look like and see all the artist pictures on the platform, this is literally world class. This is a luxurious student development like nothing you could possibly imagine. I know for a fact that if I was a student and I was lucky enough to stay in this place, the chance of me going to lectures would be like zero.
Because you'll be staying home to study, of course, Rupert.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I really meant to say. It's also part of the Dennisig precinct, which is awesome. So it sits in there, but the one is probably arguably one of the most special properties that we're going to be putting onto the platform. It is just quite literally sensational. Again, we've got a rental guarantee in place, for once the property transfers. And I think it's going to cause waves, conversational waves across the country when people see what is actually being developed and the quality of it for student stuff in Stellenbosch.
Yeah, and the university is excited about it, Rupert.
I'm sure.
They've been working with developers. They've endorsed it. It's an official recognition. So the university themselves are really excited by what this brings to the campus. Yeah,
one of the things that is going to, and the rentals in the place are are steep. You know, this is not just for the ordinary Joe Soap like you and I, but I think what it's also probably going to do is appeal to a lot of foreign students as well. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. You asked about the benefit of buying early.
Yeah.
You know, again,
well, it doesn't even exist yet. So
yeah, well, that's
once you're going to take our money and run.
Not this time. But buying off plan to this degree is essentially what you're getting is you're getting the benefit of capital growth without having to pay over the money. That's one of the huge benefits of investing in off plan development, that theoretically we're going to raise all the money through the IPO. We only pay across a small deposit to the developers, and the rest of that money is going to sit and earn a good interest rate in one of the investment accounts. At the same time, theoretically, what happens when you buy off plan is that the rest of the market obviously increases, and there's a lot of assumptions around what the growth is going to be like in the Stellenbosch area over the next couple of years. And so you're buying at day one, you're only taking transfer and paying for the property after 2 years. So in theory, you get 2 years of free capital growth before you've actually had to pay for the property. And that's one of the big benefits, obviously.
Yeah. And I think it also talks to the point that you've made in the past around diversification. So if you look at, the edge and the one, you're just diversifying your portfolio in, buying a property that's built, buying one that's going to be ready in 2 years' time. We've diversified now with having student accommodation on the platform. And then the next one we're going to have, I think, is you also strengthening diversification from a regional perspective. Maybe we'll talk about that property as well.
Yeah, I mean, this one's, it's a bit early to dive into the detail, but we've got another student accommodation offering that we're looking to put onto the platform. This one is going to be in Pretoria. Again, it's also going to be a really special property. It's literally 700 meters down the road from the entrance to Tux. And again, the kind of mixed use nature of all of these developments, in that they're working pods, there's coffee shops, there's the works.
And a big emphasis on safety, a big emphasis on transport. If these developments are dedicated Uber desks and what have you, so safety and transport, big focus.
Massive focus on safety as well. So that's a very exciting one as well, and it's almost become like a theme of the EasyProperties platform at the moment, is that we are putting together a whole bunch of student accommodation things so that we can kind of dive deeply into this asset class, which is actually something that a lot of our investor base have been asking for some time.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Rupert. I know that your boys are back at school in the next little while. In fact, they might have already started, but they're keen investors, and I still love the fact that we have a lot of youngsters that are invested, that love the platform. I was very happy that you and I could buy into the edge before our colleague Brad, because he was away in Mozambique. So for once we beat him. And then we're getting investors that are putting down hundreds of thousands of rands in each of these developments. And our portfolio is now over 30 properties. And within each of those property, a number of units, with hundreds of millions.
I think well over kind of 250 units. And I think we're pushing 350 or 400 million rand.
Which is phenomenal. I mean, that's us as an EasyProperties community that started in COVID. And this year we're going to aggressively list more properties. I'm sure we're going to get to our commercial property, our international property in the not too distant future. So good luck. Have fun. Thanks for chatting to us. And maybe just to end off, Rupert, I think it'd be great if, and I certainly don't do this enough, if investors check out our property reports on the platform, because you and the team update that on a regular basis in terms of valuations annually, what's happening with our rentals with each property, if there are any defaults. There's a lot of information in those property reports. So maybe just as a closing, if you can talk where people can access those and just the use of them.
Perfect. So we prepare these reports once a quarter. It's at the same time as that we pay the dividends. And essentially, first of all, people can find them under the documents section on the platform where the original prospectus was. We post them there. And these give like some high-level management accounts and financial overview out of each of the property investments. It gives some high-level kind of stats on vacancies, occupancies, rental collections, Loveness, who so efficiently runs our rental portfolio, gives a little bit of information about what's happening specifically with each of the units. And then there's obviously just a bit of analysis on some of the financials, which Maureen, our financial guru, puts together. So I think it gives all of our investors in each of those particular property collections great insight into actually what's happening with their cash and the investment properties themselves.
No, it's fascinating. Well, thanks. Have fun investing with your sons, and
thank you.
Look forward to chatting to you again soon.
I look forward to it. Thanks, Carel.
Cheers.